Hi everyone, Monica Dan back here with Portside Real Estate Group, and I want to invite you to Homebuying 101 seminar tonight from 6 until 8 at Rising Tide on Fox Street in Portland. So come for a piece of pizza, a drink if you prefer, and learn a little bit more about the home buying process. There will be myself, a title company, lender, and also inspection company. So you can kind of have everyone in one place to ask as many questions as you want. And the saying goes that there are no stupid questions because there are a lot of components to this process, specifically when you're the first time going through it. Then you want to make sure that you understand what it is that you're signing and what it is that you're doing in order to find your first home with the team that you choose to work with. So I will take you quickly through what I believe the home process to be, specifically from a first-time home buyer. So I like to meet one-on-one with people either over the phone or in person and discuss your wants and needs. From there, I'm able to kind of talk to you a little bit more about the market conditions and then inventory that we may see. And I just find that it's helpful to kind of listen to you at first and then tailor what it is that I'm saying to you. Otherwise, it can be kind of a lot of information at once. So from discussing your wants and needs and what may be attainable and what may not, then I like to kind of go in and talk to you about the actual process of home buying. So here in Maine, in order to make an offer, you sign a purchase and sale agreement, which is a legally binding agreement. And within that agreement, there states the purchase price, the property address, the book and page number of the property within the registry of deeds. And then it goes into other terms like an inspection window and contingencies like financing and stuff like that. So I believe that it's very, very important before we even start seeing properties to meet with a lender and understand your budget, because nobody thinks it's fun to see a home that you absolutely fall in love with that might exceed what you're actually able to purchase. So from my standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. And from yours, I don't want you to be heartbroken when we see the $1 million property and we realize that you can only afford whatever amount that may be. So once the purchase and sale agreement and then other ancillary documents are signed, I would present your offer, and I have a few nifty ways of doing that, so I have to keep those secret. But there are certain things within the actual purchase and sale agreement that we can do to make your offer stand out. And then there's also a few key elements that I can do to be your biggest advocate when presenting your offer to the listing agent and the seller. And then I always find that communication is key no matter what. Communication for first-time home buyers is like the ultimate Bible when it comes to the home buying process. So once you present the offer, then there's a response period. So that can be any amount of time. And within that response period, if you're in multiple offer situations, then that's kind of a totally different animal. But you can, up your offer, you can renegotiate on terms, make any changes up until a final decision is made. So that's kind of something where, if you're not in a multiple offer situation, then the sellers generally counter, and then you can counter again, or you can accept, or you can decide to walk away. So there are several different situations and scenarios, and I just go over those at a very high level because until you're actually in it, then again, it can be a lot of information to absorb. So I talked a little bit about the contingencies within an offer, one of which is the inspection window. Within that period of time, you are able to have an unlimited amount of inspections and investigations on a property. And this is really making sure that everything within the property is as we found it to be the last time we saw it, that the disclosures are actually up to date and that there are no other hazards within the property. But it's also the time when I go to the city or town hall and pull the building file and make sure that there are proper permitting for the work that has or has not been done to the property. And it's kind of a really cool time because you get to learn a lot about the history there that you may not have known if the seller didn't disclose that information. So once you're through the inspection window, there's really no getting out of the contract whatsoever. I mean, you can, but then you need to seek the assistance of an attorney, and that becomes a lawsuit. So that inspection window is absolutely crucial. If you have like any cold feet, then that's generally a telltale sign of something that either needs to be renegotiated or rethought. So post-inspection window. What happens now is a lot of things behind the scene with the lender. So they are asking for additional documentation. They are confirming your employment. They are basically getting all the ancillary docs that underwriting is requesting. But there's also the appraisal. So from my perspective, from the time in which the inspection window is over up until the appraisal is usually a pretty quiet time for both me and you in terms of communication. Once that appraisal comes in, it needs to meet or exceed the purchase price that we've agreed upon. So assuming that there are no issues, then we are able to move on and hopefully get the clear to close. At which time, behind the scenes, the title company is working on a title search, and title insurance is always recommended just in case there are any claims against your investment or your property. So what is closing? What is the closing day, and who attends the closing? Those are generally the most avid questions that I have within that time period. So the closing is the day in which you actually sign all of your loan documents, yet again, and the deed for the purchase of the property in which you are buying. So it is absolutely a ton of signing happening. It's a ton of verification in terms of your loan amount, taxes, prorations, ultimately like those type of that type of information. So the closing generally takes about an hour or so. The buyer agent, sellers, you, the buyer, and a title company representative, and sometimes a lender are at the closing. So, and that's the day that you're actually able to move in as soon as funding is in. So that's a very high level, fast 7-minute version of the home buying process. If you'd like to learn more, then I'd love to work with you. Please reach out to me at monica@portsidereg.com or text me at 207-749-4170. I hope to see you tonight.